Thank you for listening to Life Improvement Radio. You are listening to a rebroadcast of a previously recorded show.
We're live at the Miami Book Fair, powered by Life Improvement Radio. You can visit my website, tolltutor.net, for more information. Twitter, tolltutor, Neil S. Haley, Facebook, LinkedIn, Neil Haley, Instagram, tolltutor, Pinterest, Neil Haley, and Google Plus, Neil Haley. And the good news is finally we've figured out some of our technical difficulties 4 years in, and we feel like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm really excited to welcome a co-host to the show, an author, Belva. You have a show on Life Improvement Radio. Belva, how are you?
I'm fine, Neil. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, and so I just was told we do have a guest on the line, so it's we're going right impromptu, right into it. I'm just trying to pick some stuff up. Again, you can check it out. Our first interview, and we're excited to welcome the program. Angela, are you on the line?
Neil, I am here. Hello.
Angela, I tell you, I guess we're starting all over again. It's kind of like the strangest thing in the world. You're our first interview today, lineup, and we've had technical difficulty after technical difficulty, but I'm so glad that things are finally okay. So, Angela, thanks for calling. And how do you pronounce your name? Because we're definitely live. It's DiTerlizzi. DiTerlizzi, is that correct?
If you're in Italy, it's DiTerlizzi, but DiTerlizzi is great.
DiTerlizzi. All right, Angela. I'm so excited because, again, children's book author, having you on the program, we have our co-host, Belva, who has a show on Life Improvement Radio that will be asking you questions as well. How excited are you being in Miami, especially the Miami Book Fair? It's just such an amazing atmosphere, isn't it?
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, it's a little windy, it's a little gray here, but, you know, the authors and the books are just bright and sparkling and radiant. I love this book festival. It's definitely one of my favorites. And I grew up in South Florida, so it's great to come back.
And one interesting question about this, being a children's book author, you know, did you always want to be that? Is that something you always wanted to do?
No, actually I didn't always want to be a children's book author. My husband always wanted to be a children's book author, so I kind of...
We know the famous, how known he is. Yes, absolutely, yeah.
But I actually wanted to be a makeup artist, and that is what I was, kind of in a prior chapter of my life. I was a makeup artist for a lot of bands and for Saturday Night Live and the Today Show when we lived in New York. And then once we moved out of New York City, it was time for me to be inspired to start a new career. So that's when I wrote my first manuscript and kind of dove in and culled everything together from my 20 years of master class of children's literature living with Tony.
Well, we have Velva. Feel free to jump in on any questions with Angela. What's really interesting, Angela, is that you think about your creativity and makeup artists, things like that. That works so well to engage children, isn't it? Having that creativity when you're writing these books.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I love this. I loved doing makeup, and what I really loved was the connection and making people feel great and engaging them, and I get to do this at so much of a younger age, and I love connecting with the kids. I love seeing how, you know, they are all usually authors and illustrators themselves at this very young age. So to kind of be able to try and inspire them and get them to grow that and let them know that this is actually a career and it's a really, really cool job, I love it. I love the kids the most.
Belva, do you have a question for Angela?
Yes, I wanted to know about her book. I'd love to know the title. One of the things I'm writing, my next book is A Parent's Guide to Nightmares. So I'm very interested in anything to do with children, children's books, any of your experiences, Angela. I'd love to hear them.
Well, I have a couple of books out. I did a very silly toddler series with my husband called Adventure of Mino. But then the most recent ones, I did one called Say What, which is all about animals and the noises that they make. And the most recent is called Some Bugs, which would be a source of nightmares for some people. And it is just all about... I picked my daughter up at school one day, and she was really upset when she was in preschool. And I said, "Sweetie, what's wrong?" And she said, "My friend said bugs are disgusting." And I said, "Well, what did you say?" And she said, "I said bugs are cool." And I said, "Well, some people think they're disgusting because some bugs sting and some bugs bite." And she said, and some bugs stink, and some bugs fight. So, of course, as an author, I was like, oh, this is my first stanza. I've got it.
Yeah,
so I went home to write. But I love that she was defending the, the backyard microcosmos of insects.
And I love the way you use that as a springboard, creativity. I just think that's amazing because kids are amazing. And if you, like you said, they're junior authors and artists already. If you can just, take that in and appreciate that about them, because their creativity is wide open at that age.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting, Angela, I was thinking about bugs and specific things, that there are certain kids just love bugs, while there are other kids that just don't want to have anything to do with them. I think you're hoping that everyone starts to develop the love of exploring bugs, correct, through this book. To get kids that saying they're just picky, and thinking of your husband and and the Spiderwick series and things like that. You definitely want to say, bugs are okay, especially growing up with him. I'm sure he's into bugs as well, right? It's the mysteriousness and things like that. Of the ones that are sometimes the scary ones, right?
Oh, absolutely. He did a picture book called The Spider and the Fly. So there's definitely a lot of insect inspiration in our house. And I think sometimes a lot of fears are based on adult fears, or parents going, ooh, that's gross, it's disgusting. And when I go into school, sometimes I'll have, or bookstores, and the parents are the ones who are grossed out, but the kids are going, there, that's cool, that's awesome that praying mantises, chew the heads off the males, that they think that stuff is really neat. And I think they're totally fascinated by it. And once we kind of dig in, and, we talk about some of these different insects and their habits and habitats, they're really into it. They think it's cool. And the fact that, you can be anywhere to kind of explore this unseen world at times. They love getting down there. And that's, they're already at an advantage because they're smaller than we are. So they can explore that.
Definitely. Are you into bugs? Do you like bugs, Bella?
I called this book Some Bugs because I like some bugs. I like most bugs. I am still freaked out by the ones that sting and the ones that bite. But I growing up in South Florida, we had some really large insects. But I have to say, writing a book about some bugs, you get to talk with a lot of people here. They keep bugs as pets. I had a pet praying mantis recently that we released back into the wild. I've got to hold a Malaysian jungle nymph, which is one of the largest insects in the world. It's a type of stick insect. So I think I've overcome any adult fears that I would have had. I'm pretty much up for, kind of holding anything now at this point. But everybody is into, it seems that kids are into, butterflies and ladybugs. Those are like the gateway bugs for kids.
Belva, I heard, I was asking Belva, do you like bugs as well?
Well, I love spiders. So I'm a spider lover, and I love them because they weave webs and because they all have their own interesting little personalities, and because part of me is a little bit of a black widow myself. So that's why I love bugs.
Well, definitely, for sure. And, Angela, do you see yourself going ahead and writing some more books involving bugs after this, another children's book with bugs, or are you going to venture into something else?
Well, the next one is actually... my publisher was really excited and said, what can we do next? So I thought about, maybe some birds, maybe some fish, but we're actually, I just signed the contracts for some pets. So, and I think that's another thing that's really relevant to kids' lives. If they don't have a pet, they want one, and if they have one, like my 7-year-old daughter, she is obsessed with her fur sister. So I think kids might get a kick out of some pets.
Yeah, definitely. Angela, where's the best place we can find you and purchase your book and learn more about you? Where can we go?
Well, you can definitely go online. You can go to AngelaDiTerlizzi.com, and you can find out more about me there. And once I've got, another book out in the spring called Baby Love that's coming out. And I've got another one called Just Add Glitter that I'm excited about because it's actually going to have glitter in it. So I'll be out doing, right now this is kind of, usually I'm promoting the books when they come out. So this was nice that it was a little bit later in the year for us. Of course, a good time to escape to Miami from Amherst, Massachusetts, where I usually live.
All right, well, good talking to you, Angela. We're going to take a quick break. Great talking, Angela. Keep the phone line open, please. And Velva, we'll get back to our next amazing author. You're listening to Author's Corner, powered by Life Improvement Radio, the Total Education Network, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for listening to Life Improvement Radio. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own and shall not be construed in any way as advice from Life Improvement Radio. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our website. Personal perspectives expressed by the producers, writers, or editors will always be presented as such. Any rebroadcast or retransmission without the expressed written consent of Life Improvement Radio is strictly prohibited. Thanks for listening.